Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Chris back. Ooh, mic is really close, or I am very close. I don't know which. Back for another stream. Woohoo! And we're doing more 7th Saga. Hopefully, finish 7th Saga. We will see. We're almost 40 hours of game time in. Last time we played, we got all the runes back, as you'll see here. All these do something to weaken the boss in some way. What they do, I do not remember. I should have wrote it down, but I didn't. And now we're going to, guess, try to get to the final boss. Because I totally know where he's at. Will they tell me where he's at? Okay. Star Rune, defense power by half. They ruined him. I'm guessing I just go further west. I don't know for sure. Maybe? Not there. Oh. Then steal some magic from you. Yum, 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 yum. Yay! Free money, free experience. Also waiting for the Switch to charge so Jess can play some Switch. She was talking about doing some Chocobo Dungeon. So, I forgot to charge my Switch because I'm a bad, bad man. I'm a bad person not doing that. Awesome. Right. Again, mine just seems like I think it loses power pretty quick. At least when it's off, it certainly loses power in its hibernation mode, which hasn't impressed me a whole lot. That'd be one reason to get like a newer model Switch, because I believe they have better battery life. But my Switch can be modded and stuff, and it's the OG Switch. There's a lot of appeal to that. I don't know. Also had our fantasy football draft today when the league Carlos is organizing. Did pretty well. Cleaned up pretty well for players, all things considered. I was happy with the results. Oh, sweet. Yeah, it is not a DS. DS has some battery life, dude. Switch, nah. Switch has got games now. Now let's be real here. Switch has got some games. You can pretty much root the device. That's really the main thing. There's a particular hardware exploit you can do on the Switch, where you can get access to. I think it's like a recovery mode for the Switch, so you can get root access to the system, and then you can install like homebrew stuff and whatnot, which I think will be important down the road. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. I'm thinking more of like homebrew stuff down the road. Like, you know, someday the Switch will no longer be, you know, a system that people can play. It might be where downloadable games are not available or something. Something like that. You know, kind of like where some other, like, I think like the Vita, for example. Or there might be just a lot of stuff that was digital only, or other support that has gone to the wayside. And it'll be important to have that legacy support. And one way to do it is have something that you can actually access and modify. Is this the way? This looks important. That's not the way. Well, it looks like it's getting closer to the way. This is not what we had previously. And didn't work. Cool. Is he going to dodge this? No, he's not. Magic! Yay! So that's kind of my thinking, and it's like, I'll take the performance hit to have at least something I know can reasonably be, like, I'm sure other newer models can run this just on the Switch. Oh yeah, wouldn't that be the bee's knees, cat's pajamas? Nom 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 nom. Let me get your power up. But it's like, I'm sure in the future there will be better support for the newer Switches as well, for, you know, hacking and whatever. But that, I mean, that's the reality of consoles now, is that the way they have long-term support is hacking and piracy and things like that. That's how things get preserved. That's the only reason why we have things like, oh, I did 91, dang. Really? Cool. Well, the upgrade, they're putting a faster CPU in it, I believe. And then the bigger thing is having, I think, a larger battery. And with it being, in general, like a hardware revision, it might be where the system is just a little more efficient, too, what it does. You know what I mean? So that's certainly in the cards. Dang, hey, don't hurt Doc like that. That's mean. I don't like that. Bam. You can res guys too? What the frick? Get petrified. But that's kind of what I anticipate with the Switch. And again, that is a consideration I have now for modern consoles, is that, you know, down the road, what's piracy going to look like for it? What's preservation going to look like for it? Can I use this thing once it's gone through its prime? So, I mean, there's certainly a very real possibility that I can't. And if that's going to be the case, then, you know, that's something I don't like having to deal with. You know, I do enjoy the retro experience, be able to revisit a lot of this content. Oh, I should have gone for the petrified guy. Dang it. And there's aspects of the 3DS I like as well. Primarily the form factor, things like that. Oh, did I not get anything from that? Dang it. But yeah, that's kind of in the back of my mind. The kind of the perfect situation, something like the PSP, where it's because of other exploits, it's such an available platform. You can do things like straight up rip PS1 games and throw it on there and just use them. Things like that. Or again, also even with other PSP games, if someone has a translated ROM, load up a translated ROM, play something you couldn't before, so on and so forth, right? I think this is the place. Oh, good. It's gonna be a maze. Hey, remember how the... Oh, it'll be like this. Remember how with JRPGs, the last room, or the last castle is always a freaking maze? Great. Hey, Emerald, cool. Yay, mazes. G unit? Or are you saying great? Well, he's not there anymore. Oh, this is certainly a maze. Oh, great. I'm on the second floor. All right. Oh, yeah, Vey did that. I think Cosmic Fantasy did something like that too, right? I don't think it went to the very end yet. So this is the third floor? This is the fourth floor? I don't know. Oh yeah, the hidden tiles. Oh, these guys. These guys are not fun. That didn't work. Good. That also did not work. There goes my wizard. Am I out of potion 3? Oh. 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 Oh, what's up, Wes? There we go. Hi. So these guys are hard. Good to know. Good to know. Oh boy. I think they did the dumb thing when you need to go to a specific row and column door, and it always reset you to a specific door. Yeah, that was kind of lame. Oh, that's the dude's castle. Yeah. 1 second here. Let me check something here. Here we go. I decreed the switch was charged long enough for Jess to use, so here we are. Okay, so great. Guy's castle's hard, and these guys might be too easy. I mean, I could attempt to grind off of some of those other demon guys, I guess. Because those guys hit freaking hard. Like, really hard. Zero fun. And they heal, which was also not great. Not preferred. Crabs. So, Wes, for context, you're looking at me being pretty much at the end of the game for 7th Saga. This has been an RPG I've been playing since 2019, like February 2019, I think. So we've been at it for a bit. That is for sure. And I think tonight we can finish this off. I'm confident in that. It's Labor Day coming up, if not already. And, I mean, we're at the end of the game. We are close. Do I have to actually go around those mountains? Is that how this goes? I think that's how this actually goes. It's really good when the enemies that I can actually kill and possibly grind off of run away. That's great. The other enemies I can grind off of would be in that dungeon to the side, which is equally great because they have guys that could pretty much wreck me. I mean, maybe I'm a bit better off now. I don't know. I can try it. That might be the better approach here. Yes, indeed, sir. The dramatic end. A very long journey, for sure. Ugh. This isn't even the maddening stream. Oh, I'm taking my magic back. Oh, you don't get to keep that. You've made a mistake. I am taking that magic back. Well, we're gonna have Doc get some power. So, Wes, are you doing any kind of fantasy football this year? There we go. Got my magic back. There it is. I'll do some ice just for good measure. Some more ice just for some good measure. There it is. Oh. Petrify. That's the name of the game. Hey, these guys who can also instant kill me. Great. Petrify is wonderful. That's the instant kill we're trying to dodge here. That's what we're trying to not have happen. And you run away. Keep doing that. That's cool. Just do that more. That's great. Right on. Oh, God, Pete's sake. Can I at least steal some magic from this guy? Yeah, I think the Carlos League I'm in is probably the only... Well, it is the only one I'm doing this year. I don't do too many leagues myself. I figured it'd be a good distraction too, given, you know, doing father stuff now and whatnot. It's always good to have something, a little activity, keep socializing. Streaming does some of that, but, you know, I'm also kind of streaming in my basement. So, you know, social contact's a bit limited at times with that. Just get out of Petrify? I don't know. But yeah, so the general strategy here, Wes, as you've identified properly, is Petrify, power Doc up, have him slam. Both characters here have a lot of restore magic, so it allows me to play very defensively, very conservatively with many of the encounters. And it becomes a bit of a slower crawl, but it's a very stable crawl. Unless, you know, guys just blow up my defense and I can't do anything. Because that's really tough to get around when some guy dodges and or just hits hard. Like, was it Doc even defending? He was getting like 100 damage on him. Like, I may have to buff his defense right away or something. I may have to go that far. And as long as my wizard doesn't get hit, which I could put, like, increases agility. So those might be some options. In this particular role-playing game, Wes, the name of the game is Agility. Agility is the bee's knees, cat's pajamas of anything here because you can dodge. And dodging is so very important because it allows you to take 0 damage. And you can dodge magic. So you're not even just dodging physical attacks, but dodging magic. Really? Didn't you kill him? Huh. Let's do that. Power up Doc here. So, you know, if you're thinking in terms of turn economy, or how many turns or how much time within a turn can I give a character, it's very critical, as you can imagine, to be able to do things such as dodge all-out attacks from enemies. Right? And that's what you see a lot of in this. It's the first floor. Oh, I didn't get to search this yet. Recovery's nice. I like that. Alright, so I think this is going to be the second floor then? No, this can't be second floor, can it? Oh, good lord. Let's go to my guy here. Updock's defense. Oh, this is going to be bad, I think, because I don't know what that blue guy does. Oh, he just kills. Got it. Well, with increased defense, I can at least... I don't know. Something here. Get my magic stolen. Great. Oh. Correct. Increase agility, my likelihood of dodging increases. I am not ready for this dungeon. I cannot do this dungeon. The dodge is not 100% guaranteed. It's based on a speed stat, which you'll see right there under speed, and agility raises that. I just lost some money, but yeah, it's kind of understood because I was going for broke. So I think we're going to go to the other cave to grind a little bit because that is way too tough. I cannot take that place. And maybe we'll get some more money. Maybe we'll get some final equipment. There's some other equipment I didn't buy for these characters yet. It's not much, but it's like a couple items for the wizard. It might be important to get those now. One of them's a weapon. One of them is some defense. It's honestly not a lot of defense, but it might help. So yeah, so you have defense, which is your defense against physical attacks, which a physical attack is anything that's not magic. So no matter what the animation looks like from the character, if it is not spending MP, it is not in fact a... I should have petrified him. It is not in fact a magical attack. Then you have... I think you have magic and magic defense. It might be just magic. But if it's just magic, either way, those determine your magic attack and magic defense, which is your defense, as you can imagine, against magical attacks. And then you have power for physical attacks. You have... what else you got here? Let's look at the stats. Because I can't remember. It's been a while. There might be like overall health and MP sort of stuff. Guard is your defense. Power is your attack. Magic is your magic attack and magic defense. Speed is your agility, a chance to dodge. I think also how quickly you can act on a turn as well. Weapon, I think that's effective weapon damage, or at least help from a weapon, if I'm not mistaken. And then defend is your physical defense. That's how the stats kind of go in this. And what we're going to do here, we're going to kind of grind a little bit, because this is probably the next step up of enemies and when we're outside. These guys were giving me a lot of trouble when I was playing this area before, but hopefully they'll give me some chances to grind. That's mean. Lower my defense? I don't like that. And as you can see, I'm not like at least for these kinds of enemies, I'm not that far away from being able to beat them up. It's going to be the other zombie-looking guys that can dodge. They have a high agility, so they can dodge a lot of attacks, and they can res each other. So if I kill one, they have a good chance of bringing that guy back to life, thus nullifying my damage. These are the guys. Let's see how I do against them. Defense is a lot better. And I am going to raise my wizard's agility because he has a very high speed. which should give me a good chance of dodging, in theory. Like that. Good. There we go. That wasn't nice. I am going to steal your MP. Nom nom nom. I want magic back. Great. And petrify didn't work. Double great. Let's heal Doc. And here we go in this circle of crap. As you can see, dodging is really important. It is very helpful. Can I ice this guy to death? Yeah, I can. That'll work. Ouch. That was mean. Hey, I got them. Cool. So the battle's much more manageable than it was for me previously, but still, it takes some damage. And so this is what we're going to do for a bit, guys. We're going to grind up in here. Hopefully make some cash, too, and I can make some cash, too, and buy items and buy the remaining equipment that I need to get for, guys. I think I'm it. Controls are hard. And I think Sam would agree with this as well, where the last third of this game has been nothing but grinding just to make some kind of progress. Like, it's been slow going. There's a little bit of grinding I had to do at various parts of this game, but this last third has been obnoxious. Just can't freaking hit them. Ah! Annoying. Yeah. And of course we lowered Doc's defense, and that is actually kind of a bummer. Well, at least he ran. I can't hit him. Why? Jerk. Let's get Doc's defense back up. They stem bleeding a little bit. I at least need some magic back. There we go. Thanks. Ah. Oh, that's gross, Sam. Loose sockets and stuff, not great. Well, let's heal my wizard up. Good. Great. Just keep doing that stuff. That's perfect. I guess I'll try take more mana just so I don't run out. Great! Can I petrify someone? Thank goodness. Jeez. Can I petrify you too? This is taking forever. There we go. Dang. You guys did not want to give up the ghost. Hey, level 52. Yay! Even got more speed. Hooray! Okay, Doc, remember all that healing you were doing? Let's do it again! From the top. Woo! Just dang, dude. For real. Those guys are just big, silly jerks. Ah, 4 HP. Good. That's great. Yes, they can eventually break loose from a Petrify. I don't know what determines how long they stay in Petrify. It might be just a random number. Agility on the wizard. There we go. Doc, go ahead and defend again. I'm going to Petrify you, see if that holds. And so Petrify, among other things, I want to say it might increase the chance of critical hitting as well, if I'm not mistaken. Like, Petrify is pretty nasty. If it hits. You gonna res him? Oh, no, you're not. So just calm that down. Let's calm that down. There we go. There we go. Now, the bad part of that was I didn't give myself a chance to suck any magic. Level 54, alright. And we're pretty much in here for levels at this point. I mean, we're going to get money too, which is good, but certainly the main draw here is levels. Yeah, let's give our guys some mana back. I have some items that will restore that. I have to buy some more later from the store, but this will at least keep me up a little bit longer. Poor guy. Ba-da-boo-ba-boo-ba-doo-boo-ba-doo-boo-boo-boo. But yeah, I think this is the way to go. Up my wizard's agility, let him dodge all day. And then, while Doc's defending so he can suck up his hits, I can start buffing him. Just like that. Just like that. That's what we want. Where's Petrify? Or not. That's cool too. And they heal. Great. Oh, and Doc's going to just take a bunch of damage. Good. That was great. Heal up. Let's give Doc some power. So if he does hit, he's going to hit hard. You can't heal what's dead. You can only raise what's dead. He's trying to take my magic too? Dang. What a jerk. There we go. Dang. You can only have, I think, only 2 members in your party, actually. Like, it's not a lot. There we go. We're just going to farm that a little bit. Farm it some more. I want more magic. There we go. I took all your magic. Yo, magic's mine now. Ha 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 ha. Thank you. Yes, I think it's only 2 members, and technically it's kind of voluntary too. How the game goes is that you are competing with other folks to collect these runes to fulfill some sort of wish. Almost like a Dragon Ball sort of scenario. And it's kind of like you help this king, and the king in return will grant some sort of wish if you get all the runes back to him. And so you choose a hero, like you have a choice of which hero you want to follow or use at the beginning of the game. And then every other player that you did not pick are other NPCs throughout your journey. And so you can have one of them actually join you, which is what we've done here with this wizard. Let's go ahead and up Doc's power now, since they both attacked. Can you hit? Yeah, you can. Yeah, let's up your agility. And so, kind of what motivates the choice of which character you pick is what their strengths are and things of that nature, not just with stats, but even with abilities. Because some characters don't use magic, and so they have stronger attacks and things like that. Or their magic's more focused on magic attack rather than restoration. And it helps kind of balance out some sort of party dynamic, but with only 2 people. And so that's what you have here. Once you pick one, you can sometimes switch with another character. Or, let's go ahead and have Doc heal himself. Or you just fight them, because they might be like, hey, you have the runes, I want the runes, we fight now. And becomes a one-on-one battle between your main character and that, what they call a rival. And so it's kind of interesting, too, where you have a party, but when you start leveling guys up and things of that nature, you very much prioritize your single character, because there's so many important battles that it's a one-on-one battle. So it's very much this, you have the support character for your main character, and your main character is who's going through the story, who's going on the one-on-one rival battles, things like that. There might, like, depending on how this final boss goes, it might be something similar to that even. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to roll this last battle, to be honest. You guys are jerks. Jerk store called. Running out of you. Dang it. Well, I'm not going to lie. The only reason why I did that is because I want to steal magic. He should be fine. Yeah, see, he's fine. He's fine. Jerk store called. Still running out of you. Dang it. Well, now I just look silly. I think I still need to steal MP from you. Yeah. Probably should have done that as my first attack, but whatever. So I want to do this. I want to actually steal MP from the other guy too. I don't want to have to go back to town right away. That's really what this is. Do you have any more I can steal? Heck yeah, you do. Oh, you dodged that? Dang. Lame. There we go. That didn't work. That also did not work. That also did not work. It all just didn't work. This is all becoming just a cluster muck. Gonna hit one more time. Just terrible. Dodges that too. Dodges that too. That's great. It's wasting stuff now. Dang. I don't think I'm enough to steal anything. Nah, I don't. I can do ice 1 though. That hit. That didn't. Do I have any other items I can use? I wonder what happens if I try using one of these guys. Nothing happens. Yeah, it's all for the boss now. They used to do things back when they were cool. Now they don't. I really screwed this one up, boys. Ah! Escape. It's going forever. I wasted so much MP. That was lame. Super duper lame. Do I even have an escape spell with him? No, I don't. Darn. Well, Doc can at least heal him and we can get out of here. I got some cash. I can save that for things. Ugh. That was a slow, painful battle that I did not handle well. Great. Let's get out of here. It's not going to end well. What I need to do is I need to get some more of those items again, like my MP stuff, in case I start running low again, like I just did. Because that was bad. So close. Thank goodness I'm a high enough level where I can run away from these fights. Ugh. There we go. Terrible. There we go. Good fight, Doc. Good fight. So while testing out the mini fridge, it came van. It runs off cigarette lighter port. Didn't take it with me because I don't want to drain my house battery. While camping, I thought, why not just get a 12-volt power supply for it? Like, so you just plug into the wall or something? Is that what you're thinking? Oh, yeah, Amazon's got a lot of cheapo crap too. That's a lot of it. So, I mean, what's the amperage pull on that though? That'd be my next question. Don't be healing guys now. Hey, let's calm that down. 4 amps. Okay. That's not bad. Right. Yeah, and I wouldn't expect that you're necessarily going outside of spec. I'm just more wondering what the amperage was for the pull for that mini fridge. Which Which, I mean, 4 amps is significant, but it's not, like, insanity. It doesn't surprise me that there's flaky stuff on Amazon, though. I mean, it's, yeah. Can I petrify this guy? Thank you. Even looking at some of the guys I'm fighting out here, the experience difference between the enemies I get here is maybe like, what, 200 or something like that? It is not that different in terms of... Man, it's like... It feels like the difficulty balance of some of these enemies I got here does not equate to what they give in terms of money and experience. Which does feel like it increases the grind a lot. I mean, granted, that one part, I just played it really stupid. I'm just lucky I got out of it alive. Come on, let's drain his magic. Also, I'm drinking some homemade orangeade here, which it tastes fantastic. Yeah, it's like, what, those guys get 1,400 experience. The other guys are getting, the guys inside the cave are like, what, 16, maybe 1,800 experience. So I'm looking at 200 to 400 increase in experience. I mean, yeah, it is more, but it's not that much more. Especially given the time and difficulty of those enemies where they're at. I'm not really super convinced that that's worth it. Oh, yeah. Wes, you don't know about Sam's splendid van. Everyone's worth 5,000. Okay, so I got close to 30,000. That's... Oh, no, I got 2 of those. So that's 20, 30... That's about 40,000. I think that's close for one of the items for the wizard. Yeah, Sam, you may have to let Mr. West know about it, man. I think it's defense, right? How much is this? Yeah, we can afford that. Let's buy it. Yeah, man. Let's do it. That's just the other weapon for the wizard, really. That's it. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, there is. Oh, man. I made a mistake. Kind of. I couldn't afford it yet. Oh, there's a whole other thing you can get. That is actually very, very good. 50 defense. Okay. Well, we need to get more money big time because that is huge. 50 defense for the wizard. I didn't even scroll down before. What was I doing? I'm an idiot. I should have been doing that a long time ago, man. Let's get buff back up, save, all that good stuff. 50 defense for my wizard. That's huge. Man. Alright, let's get some more mana stuff. We'll get one of them. That is the dream. Oh, that's mono water. Oh, I can get more of these though. Shoot. Mono water is super important, don't get me wrong, but Herb 2 is also very handy just because it's much more affordable. And can I get another power? Nah, filled up on that. Can I get another agility? Yeah, I can. Alright. We got some items. Oh yeah, it's Dude, Sam is doing some cool stuff. He's a cool kid. So now I'm gonna get money for like 40,000 cash for better defense for the wizard. Great. I mean, it's significant. I mean, we need it. As you have seen, it gets kind of tough out there in that dungeon, and just one-shotting my wizard, that's not gonna cut it. That will not cut the mustard. Oh, great. Is it the socket or is it the power? You know, so I don't know if you remember that flaky PSU I have for my capture PC, Sam. Like, even after resoldering the socket on there, I was still getting like a loose connection somewhere. I could never figure out what the loose wire was. Maybe it was just a bad wire? I don't know. There we go. Yeah, since seeing Sam's van, Wes, I've been trying to convince Jess for us to get a camper van. I'm like, that'd actually be really handy. We can go camping and have a family vehicle at the same time. Just all the problems solved. Okay, solid 12 volt. Well, that's good at least. Your magic stuff needs to stop. Why? Gosh. Oh, you're going to heal him now? Great! Can I hit him with this? Yes, I can. Get out of here. Get it. I cannot petrify these guys to save my life. Goodness gracious. That battle went a lot better than last time, I can tell you that much. Shoot. Well, tonight my turn to get the wizard all of his equipment, and then hope for the best after. Give me your magic. Yes. Delicious. Delicious magic. Ha 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 ha. First I take your MP, then I take your life. That is how this works. Ha 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 ha. Let's see here. I think I healed the wrong guy. Oh well. Can you petrify? Thank goodness. Jeez. Yeah, he's gonna get hit now. I want Doc to hit like a truck. Truck mode activated. And now I'm gonna take your mana. I mean, if you want your friend to feel more pain, we can arrange that. Who's next? You're next. You're next. Then I'll take your magic. Thank you. That's how we do that. Still, 1,300. I was getting 1,400 outside too, wasn't I? Or no, it was like 1,200. No, it was 1,400, I think. Yeah. So what the heck? What is this? Yeah, truck stick. No doubt. His truck is 89. Oh, great pick. 74 overall hidden development. 89 truck.
Yes.
Wish I had battles give me like 10,000 at a time. That'd be great. Oh, gross. Defense go up. Up defense. You dodged it? Give me a break. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. Yay, Mr. Tremel! We love Mr. Tremel. Is that right? Get out of here. Yeah, you better leave. You better. I take it you're taking the Dremel out to now test the wires or connection or something. I assume nothing was corroded on there, right? Heal, Doc. Heal, heal, heal. Oh, waste of 4 MP. What a waste. I can't remember what his max is. That was reasonable. 23. I'll take it. Oh, man. Alright, let's fight. Oh, crap. Wrong button. Dang gummit. Oh, well, I killed him anyway, so it didn't matter. Mattered that time. What's up, Doc's power? Let's just make him just hit. You may want to res your friend. Someone take your mana otherwise. I was kidding. Don't res your friend. Oh, you took his mana? Dude. What? Get out of here with that. Right on. Get out of here. Taking his mana. Who do you think you are? First he takes some. Oh, dang it. I was going to have him take a mana away, but never mind. That's understandable. They're probably... I wonder, Sam, if that's so cheap that the way they made the connection in there is they just form the rubber around the wire and or whatever the metals have to connect with. So it's not actually soldered together. They do this a lot with IDE to SATA cables that I've seen, but other cheap cords do it where they use the molding of the component to actually hold the things together. They're not like actually soldering metal to metal. Ow. Screw you. Get out of here with that. Yeah, let's calm down with that a little bit, alright? You know, Doc, I want you to take some magic from him. Can you do that? Nope. Sweet. Doc, can you take some magic from him? Yes. Only 12? Ooh. Great. Only 12 magic left. 'Cause you freaking did all your revives, dude. Hey, that counts, right? That's an install. Powerful install. Magic. I have you heal some folks here. Because Doc's magic is low. I haven't had a chance to have him suck any magic from anyone yet. You guys. That's why we do speed. Your friend is sleeping. What you gonna do? Hopefully be petrified. Yay! Doc, take some magic. Yay! Wizard, take some magic. We're just gonna suck you dry, brother. Or not. That's cool too. There we go. I think I might have, what, 12 left or something? I'm gonna get anything? One more time. Come on, I gotta get something from this. There you go. 20. Now you're out of magic, so you can't res anymore. There we go. That worked out pretty good. Doc got some magic. Wizard leveled up. Okay. Nice. I'll take it. I mean, hey, my chair's installed in this room, right? Good logic there. Almost 10 Gs. I get over 40,000 gold, man. So I can't pass up that armor for the wizard. He needs that bad. That's a jerk move. Doc. Punish them. Or not. Just miss. That's cool too. Doc, I want you to hurt someone. Did I already raise his power? I did. Dang gummit. I could have killed him the entire time. Silly me. Defend. Take his magic. Take his toy away from him. Take all of his toys from him. There we go. That's better. Free magic refills. Ha 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 ha. Oh, let's see here. Oh, so I don't know if you guys have heard about any of the latest online talks about Madden. In particular, the newest Madden. Where there was a hashtag going around saying NFL drop EA. And they got to, like, I think it was number 2 trending. And now the guy who did that, because you can't have the same tag trend like twice in a row, I guess, or something like that. He's trying to have another tag to get trending. Essentially, it's kind of the same idea, but at least end the monopoly that EA has on the NFL license for simulation games. Ow. Not cool. I bet it is insulated. They probably thought that no one was going to try to get into it. You know what I mean? Oh, come on. You could... There we go. You can take stuff from him. Come on. There you go. Yum, yum, yum. Doc's got some power now. Good fight, good fight. Doc reached level 55. Yay! I think I'm past the level where I get new abilities too. Like we're that far in the game. We've got all the spells and abilities we're gonna get. We're just getting experience and money now. That's what it's all about. That way we can punch people harder. That's just it. Or just miss too. That's cool. Can you hit anyone, Doc? Nope, can't hit Jack. Great. Yeah, just take some magic damage. Just do that some more. That's good. Maybe weapons like weapon accuracy. I'm not exactly sure. There we go. That's better. Can I petrify you? Thank you. I want my magic back. So, in theory, Sam, once you get this apart, is there going to be enough supplies on your end to be able to put this thing back together? Or is it be kind of like, whatever now? Really lower his defense that we're doing? Cool, man. That's great. Dang! Calm down. Really? Come on. With all these buffs, Doc's just blah. So, Wes, you might notice I'm using characters to defend for these turns, right? One of the main mechanics in this game is when you have a character defend, the next turn his attack is... I don't know if it's like doubled, but it's like a significant increase in what his damage output is. I think it's got to be more than doubled. You know what? I'm done with you. I'm going to take your stuff away from you. Oh, off him? Okay. Whatever. Still can't finish him off. That's ridiculous. You still have revive? That is not cool. Do you have any magic left? Hey, you got some. How much magic do you have? Goodness. Let's find out. Well, you had one. Okay. Yeah, just do that for a while, Doc. I'll be fine. Yep. So that's kind of a key part of this game is timing when to defend and then to unleash an attack, and hopefully we'll hit. Because as you can imagine, when you miss, and that also means you're no longer defending, you're going to get hit pretty hard. So that's a bit of a balance with the battle system in this, which I think is a really cool way of going about it. Agility, please. And again, I think part of it's with the character selection I did. There's a strong focus on defense and agility, being able to stay buffed and dodge and things of that nature. Took his magic. Dicks. Get out of here. Don't you res him. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you res him. Get that out of here. It's like I hit one of these times. Is that what's going on here? Can't even hit him like that. That is just gross. We took all of his magic. That is dumb. Screw you. Get out. Take his magic. Someone take these zombies' magic away. There we go. Give me your magic. Oh, good. Well, as long as the negative's not attached, who needs that? Alright, let's go ahead and use some of these items here. We're going to use our Mana 2 on you. And Mana 2 on you. There's to kind of refill ourselves here, you know? Get us back to fighting shape as we grind and grind and grind and grind and grind. And do that a whole bunch. This is what fun feels like. Ha ha ha! Oh, let's actually give Doc one more of these manas. I want to see if you can get some magic back from stealing. You jerks. You! Let's raise Doc's power. Let's go ahead and knock one of these guys out. There it is. He's just sleeping. Don't wake him up. Oh, yeah, he gets a free shot, too. Garbage. Give me your magic. Don't you dare! How dare you? I gave an item just for that. Give me that magic back. Don't you be Don't you be doing that. I'm gonna petrify you now. Or not. Yeah, you better watch yourself, sir. Because here comes the pain train. Choosing you. Choo. Yeah. That's the ticket. Yeah, now you learned something. You know not to mess with the best and die like the rest. What kind of money do we have right now? So there we go, kind of walk out and cash some of that out. 'Cause we're almost got 20,000, man. Woohoo! Can you steal his MP? Come on, Doc. Yeah! Yeah! Can you do it twice? No, can't do it twice. Okay. Can you do it? No, I can't do it either. Just... Doc, you gotta try it one more time. Because I got buff your power anyway, so. There it is. Yay! See, Doc has mana again. I bet you do. It's like you just chopped it up. There we go. We can work with that a little bit. Get us some stats. Without spending the cash, of course. So yeah, I guess the question is, Sam, how are you going to get that thing back together? Like, is there like enough rubber there where you can kind of tape it back together or something, or epoxy it back together? Or is this like just chopped up, it's done? Dang, you guys don't even want to fight me anymore. You gave decent money though before. Well, comparatively decent money. It's all kind of a rip-off, but whatever. I'm not sour. Boo, 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 boo. Everything's like a moderate increase in money and experience, but if I fight out here, it's super boring. Okay, petrify. At least in the cave, they are harder. That's what I got. Hot glue, got it. Hot glue can be fine. That might work fine. Nah, no more magic for you, Chris. Have you thought about just duct taping it all together? You know, match that sort of camper experience. You jerk. You know what? Just for that, Doc, punch him in the face. Yeah. Power up. First you charge the card, then you blow him up. Boom! X-Men! Na, 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 na. I almost got 20,000. I wonder if I can sell something to get the 20,000. I can probably do that. What do I got to sell? I'm so close. Oh yeah, I got these guys. So, you may notice right now, hey Chris, you're going to be buying some gems? And I say, yes, Wes, I am indeed buying gems. What happens is, when you die, the money you hold gets, well, you lose half of your money when you die. That's what happens. However, you don't lose any items. So they have these things called gems. And so when you buy a gem, you can sell it back at the exact same price you bought it at. Basically acting as a bank in the game. So the idea is that you buy gems in various denominations, and if you die, you don't lose your money. And you can only hold a max of 9 per item. So that means like you might end up, depending on what you're saving for, and you may not have certain denominations available at an item shop, buying only like 9 of something that's worth 500 or something like that, just to save money and not lose it if you're in a high level, if you're in an area where you're going to die often or something like that. I forgot to do something with my wizard. Yep. Ooh. We almost will purchase. We are getting there. We just need over 20,000 more money. So much money. There's another item I can get that increases the wizard's attack power, but I don't think I'm going to need that, and that would take forever to get. Maybe while I'm not grinding, but maybe while I'm going through the main dungeon up there, I might do something like that just to save money while I can. We'll see. But the big priority is getting that armor for the wizard, and we're almost halfway there. Almost. I'm trying to petrify my wizard. Get out of here with that. You stop that. I'll petrify you, sir. Or not, and just do nothing. Just do... Nah, we don't... Who needs to do anything with the ability? Yeah, just dodge. And then run away, too. So I just get that from the ghoul. And the ghouls are worth garbage. Yup. That's the wrong way anyway. Alright. Good. Just all around. Good job. Good effort. Alright. Dragons. Something like that. Petrify, you're failing me, man. Come on, ice. There we go. There we go. Recharge some of that magic. Give it back. Give it all back. So it seems like for a long time, since Madden probably 16 or 17 for the most part, there have been a number of complaints from the hardcore community. I assume it's a hardcore community is probably not as involved with the competitive aspects of Madden in terms of like the the televised tournaments and such, but more of like franchise players and online players, where they have been unhappy with the number of glitches and overall removal of features from the game over the years compared to, say, free Madden 13, so Madden 12 and below, and then still being charged $60 for the game. This year in particular had many bugs coming out. There were some assets found that still said Madden 19 on them because it was like a branding of the year of Madden for the particular asset in the game. And there seemed to be additions to the game that were very minor. Good job, Sam. Well done. And so in the past, what would happen is you would have a number of reviewers say, hey, it's a good step forward. Like, you can look at Metacritic for the various past Maddens from 21 before, where you would see reviewers in general saying, is a good step forward, and give it a high score. And so fans were also frustrated with, they feel like that the reviewers were not doing their job with looking at the game and really pushing for something better. It all came to a head with, number one, Metacritic just bombed Madden 21. Like, I think it ended up with like a 0.6 for a review score. Ended up being like the lowest rated game by users, I think, on Metacritic, something like that. And then end up with like 60 some for reviewers. And now they're starting saying, like, nothing's really changed, it's buggy, things like that. So everyone's kind of now coming to a consensus about the actual quality of Madden 21. And so the community's like, yeah, we need to change this. And EA, even last year, said, hey, we're going to add these things to franchise, we're going to make these changes to 21, it's going to be better. And they didn't fulfill on that. So with all that being said, EA had not been responding to the criticism of Madden 21, and so users have been like, you know what, we're done with this. And even one of the guys in the community is like, NFL drop EA, let's get this out of here. And people just were like, yeah, screw Madden 21. And they start retweeting it, posting their own videos, gameplay of bugs, all kinds of stuff. And they're just like, we are done with this crap. EA sucks. And that's pretty much it. And that's kind of the state of things now, is the community trying in some way to push back, get the NFL, like at this point, they want the NFL to drop the exclusive simulation license from EA. Because right now, with the renewal of that contract, the exclusive use of the NFL license is for simulation football games, not for arcade or others. So they revised it since the years past. So people are anticipating 2K games, for instance, coming out with an arcade-style football game. EA for Madden 21 also released a new gameplay mode, or at least I think they were pushing the, what's it called, the Yard, I think, because I think they had the Yard last year, didn't they? Oh no, they had some other kind of arcade mode last year. A lot of these people did not buy Madden 21. There are still folks who do buy Madden 21. These folks, they did not buy it. They sent back like, we're done with this. This is crap. One of the biggest challenges have been that there are folks who want to play an NFL game, but there's only one NFL game out there, and that's Madden. Right? And that's kind of tough to deal with. Hence, wanting someone else to come up with something, which it sounds like at least 2K should be coming out with some sort of game. But kind of back to the previous point. So Madden 21, I think they did add another arcade mode. Speculation is to kind of compete with whatever 2K or other companies might come out with, so EA can stay competitive with Madden on all fronts of the NFL football landscape. But, I mean, yeah, there are folks who haven't been buying 21 because they're just that tired of it. And some folks feel like, I want an NFL game. There is only one in the market. This sucks. I have no other football game I can buy. I want to have that fantasy of playing in the NFL with NFL players, so on and so forth. And no one else can do it. Well, until recently, but no one else could do it. I wonder if I can attack this guy. Yeah, that worked out better. So that's the deal. And I think part of it is the bad attention that EA has gotten from Madden 21 and the community at large. I mean, you have NFL players saying they're not buying Madden 21 and it is a bad game. Like, they're going on the Pat McAfee show. They're going on ESPN. They're saying, yeah, NFL drop EA. This is garbage. Like, the NFL players are in on it, and they're saying, no, I'm done with this. Because a lot of them were also online players. Like, yeah, it's crap. I would want to play a different NFL game. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah, I hope something changes. You know, as someone who has been a fan of the lineage of Madden, like, I know Sam certainly see it. Wes, I don't know if you've seen my collection of Madden games up on the shelf. I need to kill Doc here. Yeah, and I think it's also insulting because these folks are being told things about the game that are improved, that features that are simply not true in terms of like engine refinements and things like that. It's like I don't see a noticeable difference. Like, oh, we've been tweaking the running game and stuff. Oh yeah, dude, my wizard, his magic defense, he ain't messing around now. No joke. But it's like, from the audience perspective, it feels like that EA is taking advantage of their license rights right now by just not putting as much effort into the games they've seen with changes with previous iterations. Okay, yeah, so you know of the collection. And I think a lot of it too is that, and this is pure speculation on my part based on my experience as a developer at Walmart, but with the choice of EA as a corporate direction to have at least their sports titles, I think there are other titles too that follow this, but everyone is using the same engine, the Frostbite engine, that and I've read articles about this where they end up having like this core engine team and other folks from the development teams of some of these titles making enhancements to the to Frostbite and trying to, and sometimes kind of hack it together to make it work with certain kinds of games, just because you might have different needs for camera or event handling that may not be like spawning in guys for an FPS, but instead of having receivers run down a field or having some sort of result come from offensive linemen doing certain activities and things like that. And from what it almost seems like is that you have a side effect of them trying to solve the problem of using an engine that wasn't really built for a sports simulation game like Madden for a sports simulation game like Madden. Part of that being they end up leveraging, like very much leveraging animations as a core part of result resolution for stats and such for characters, to the point where you look at one of the main examples that comes up with people who are critical of Madden is the field goal block. And they can see that the whole sequence of a field goal block is scripted before the play executes. Now, this might be because of there's some number crunching in the background to determine that. Yeah, square peg, round hole, very much so. But whatever calculation happens, what ends up being the user experience of the game is that you have players that have individual stats on a field, and the result is predetermined, so it's not based on even player interaction with that particular play of a field goal block. It's just you're seeing feedback from a calculated conclusion rather than having a conclusion driven from collision or interaction with certain players on the field for the play, and that's not satisfying to those users. And there are many things, even such as if a receiver is going to catch a ball against a defender, it ends up being that you have certain ways of triggering certain animations to actually get a catch. So now it becomes a science of triggering an animation as opposed to based on position of players or based on play selection. So even no matter what play you pick, you're just trying to trigger an animation, and it's a broken experience in that regard. And it's something that's been fairly overt for the core audience of Madden, and it's something to where, you know, best case scenario, it becomes a strategy of playing Madden, but worst case, it becomes where you have money plays or exploitable plays. You have trends with, I'll just give Doc some power. Trends with Madden players to focus on certain types of configurations, plays, teams, whatever. And it dilutes the overall experience of playing a football simulation game. It no longer feels like a simulation. It feels like it's some weird mix of arcade elements. And it overall becomes dissatisfying to that audience. And the response to that criticism has been in the past ignored from a reviewer standpoint and from a developer standpoint. I'm sure I don't have the whole story. I'm going off of writings of magazines and articles that have been published. But that has been the public response to Madden 21 and a lot of the frustration with that. And I think part of it too is that you have some folks who yearn to have the previous experience of the older games in general, which I don't think is very fair. In particular, there are many vocal individuals, especially on YouTube, who are part of some of these communities, who have a great deal of negativity towards Madden Ultimate Team. Where they're like, well, it feels like the game that I used to love is now a gambling game, more or less. Which there is some truth to that, because there's a big focus from an advertising perspective, from a feature set perspective, when you play some of the newer Madden games. I haven't played 21 myself, I played some of 20 and 19 and 18, where there is a great deal of focus on crap, I need to up his power. On MUT, which is a microtransaction-driven part of Madden. Makes a lot of money. And it is popular. I mean, no doubt about that. It's a popular mode, and I find it to be, myself, I find it to be fun. Which is why I'm not really in agreement with, like, this is a trash mode or whatever. And I think I've talked with Sam a little bit about this, where MUT works well as a almost like a celebration of the history of the NFL, because you can create these dream team players and teams and things like that in this collectible sort of format. And there's a lot of content available that you don't have to pay for. And there's a lot of guys who make YouTube videos solely with, like, I'm so good at this game that I don't have to buy a bunch of packs to win. And I'll just purposely make trash teams with trash players and beat you with them. Because with the gameplay itself, it doesn't solely rely on the stats. And I think that's a bit of a disconnect with some folks too, is that with the core gameplay, part of the reason why there is a, I would say, dissatisfaction with some of it is they expect a particular result from individual stats of these players rather than other elements of the game which the stats do impact, but it may not be to the severity that they expect, which I would suspect is part of it is the actual inputs and the interaction a particular human player has with the game. And so I think there's a bit, I suspect there's a disconnect of that with some of those folks who criticize Madden quite a bit. That sucks. 90 damage. Another 90 damage. That's just not cool. So it's kind of interesting to see where that audience is now. Part of it too, I sort of suspect that there is more of a vocal criticism of Madden than what might represent the community as a whole. Just because, you know, it's easy when you're loud to be listened to. And I haven't played enough of the newer Maddens to really get a good feel for, is it a satisfying experience. I have a very casual experience with the newer Maddens. I've played them a little bit, probably, I would say. I've probably played the last 3 iterations of Madden a total of 15 hours, I would say, total. And a lot of it's been like single player campaign, some of the beginning MUT stuff. The last thing I'll say on the topic of the crap Chinese 12-volt adapter, please learn from my little adventure. I bought a cord for Amazon. It didn't work. Yeah. But hey, at least it works now, right? The important thing is the cord works. Which means you didn't have to spend that cheap amount of money again on another cord. Yeah, dude. Cheap stuff on Amazon is like Walmart crap cheap. It is. It is some gross, nasty. You stole my magic, you jerk. It's gross, nasty stuff. Yeah, so it's been kind of fascinating to me to sort of dive a little bit into some of the online communities of football simulation where some of those people land in terms of preferences, because there's some clear difference in preferences for how games should be. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Sam, make sure you put that in the product review of that cord. That might be helpful. Some assembly required, guys. Where are we at with the money? Hey, we're getting pretty close money-wise. Okay. Just up his power, let him bash some things. Bash Brothers. Ow. Ow. Jerk. We have to get out of this cavern. And I've kind of wished that I have been more on the ball with some of the Madden gameplay stuff recently, just to kind of have, I don't know, I guess a little more say in some of the recent criticism and state of the Madden franchise. I certainly think it's fairly important, partly just the darn age of the game and the franchise, where it's been around for so freaking long. Really? Can't steal that, huh? And then also, I mean, yeah, right now, it's really the sole representation of the NFL in a digital form to have those experiences of managing a team, of being in a league, things like that. And I know, at least I feel like, you know, I have a cool opportunity where I have copies of all these older games. You know, it's not just nostalgia for me. And a lot of these guys, like I've seen some guys who are criticizing this. A lot of them, their frame of reference is like, that's the thing. It's the first time I did over 1,000 damage. Wow, is like again Madden 08, Madden 05. And the Genesis games and some of the late 90s games are other things they've done in an emulator or just seen gameplay of. And while it's not indicative of the critics' gameplay experience, even a lot of the videos I've seen, you know, what they use for references are other people's gameplay. They're just for clips. So, you know, I don't know how much they dip into, like, other parts of the games and how they've changed. There's certainly a lot of love for the PS2 line. Just because I think, especially with a lot of the franchise features that have been asked to come back and ways of sorting data and using that to evaluate a team and such, a lot of it is present in the PS2 games all the way through to 12. And so it's, you know, that was kind of a funny time where you had, you essentially had two separate engines really going. I don't know if it's like full on two separate teams. I would imagine it had to be at least two separate teams working on the PS2 versions of Madden and then some of the next gen stuff. Because even like the original Xbox, it only went to like Madden '08. So you had '09 through '12 on the PS2 just hanging out. I think there was some on the GameCube too, but I mean there were some on the GameCube, but I don't know how long the GameCube line lasted. Let's see here. What's my status right now? We can head back and get some gems. Maybe make our final money just around the camp and get this armor for the wizard and give it another try. But anyway, so I'd even wonder, would one have that same kind of criticism with chasing trends that were earlier, or I guess earlier in the Madden franchise, but seen as new back when they switched over to 3D, when they started having online capabilities, things like that. I don't know. I certainly seems like later on in the Madden games they brought a lot of the features from the older games back, so it's not like it was such a feature loss like you see with the newest games. I might need to get something from my phone here. I need to get it charging. Yay. I'll be right back, guys. Let me get a charge cord. Doop, doop. Doop, doop, doop. There we go. After a couple of bouts of sharpening, it came loose. Well, talking about the cord. Right, I go this way. But yeah, so Madden, football games. I should say I trimmed my thumbnail rather close that day. Oh geez. What are you doing, Wes? Dang. Cutting it close. Oh! Wish you killed him there. I think I missed some of the conversation here about something West had to cut or something. Yeah, it hasn't all populated in my side chat here, so I don't know. Where am I at again for money? I'm pretty close to 22,000. Or 20,000, I should say. I don't know if I'll be able to petrify this guy or not. He's just doesn't like to petrify for whatever reason. Doesn't like it. Head over to home. More money, more combat, more money, and more combat. Uh, 12 damage, I don't care. My magic power is huge now. Do not mess with my wizard. He will wizard you to death. Oh man. One thing, part of the collection of the Madden games I have up here is Madden Championship Edition, which was a Blockbuster exclusive revision of Madden 93 that included, it took out pretty much all of the teams it came with and replaced them with like years past legendary teams, which is probably just palette and stat changes, sure, but still it's pretty cool. And it keeps to like having various playoff modes and stuff with all these teams. It's really hard. Those teams are indeed really hard to beat and play against. It feels very true to the title of Championship Edition. Where's the man? You literally have to pry my cold dead hands off my copy of Madden 04. Doesn't even come with Vic on the cover. I have lemonade insert. It was purchased from Blockbuster. Right, exactly. Dude, there is so much love for the older Mads, especially like that PS2 era where it was like, I think really it's like 03 or 04 was really where it started, but that onward to 12, like there is some serious love for that. I think part of it was just on the heels of the competition with 2K, because like, 2K5 was the last 2K Sports NFL license game, which was always regarded in the infamy of greatest football game ever and things like that. But also there's a lot of competition for features. And that's a lot of what people sort of want back, at least the critics, the user critics, I should say. They want to see an environment where they feel that there is a stronger push for innovation in that genre and type of game that they're not seeing right now as a user. and also have choices in the market. And I think that's really the biggest thing. It's just there aren't choices in the market for folks. They want a different choice. They want a different perspective. Even like with NBA 2K, for example. NBA 2K in itself is, the dominant basketball sim game right now. But you still have NBA Live here and there. Like, they skip some years sometimes. I think they skipped this year to try again next year. But, I mean, they're still kind of competitive. They're still trying to have a different product out there. And that might be the most important thing for folks, is just having that opportunity to buy a different product and have some respect. Like, I feel like they're being respected as a consumer, which is a real thing. I mean, we get that in retail, for example, where you have a strong response from users and from customers a lot of time because they feel like the place they shop and the people they know when they shop, it's a part of their ownership of that experience. And if you don't respect that, they will go somewhere else. It's not just about a financial, it's not just a value proposition, but it's I've chosen to consume here and experience this product, place of purchasing, whatever. And that needs to be acknowledged and respected by those who create product. It is not just you create a product and I consume it, that's the end of the story. It just isn't. It's where they have a lot of times a say in that experience, because it's still their money going in. They're not buying just what's there, but they're buying an opinion for the product and for the market or whatever. And so that becomes, it's almost like in pop culture, where you have when there's like a film or a piece of media that goes out there, even like a lot of these games, where eventually once it's out of the hands of the developers don't own it anymore. They own the IP, of course, and profits from the product, but in terms of the significance and the way it's used, that's out of the developers' hands, period. They have influence on it, but it's about the users and people, what they want to do with it, either if they adopt it or not, if they mod it, if they play it for certain purposes, tournaments, streaming, whatever. And they have ownership and control of it, even outside legal bounds of ownership of a product, And and that really resonates with people. You certainly have a very vocal crowd in games, but games aren't the only place where that happens. And, you have folks who claim this made gaming history and da-da-da-da-da, and a lot of that is just a reflection of what they find as significant as part of that experience when they consume that product. And that's where the value comes in for it. There's an immediate value from when a product is introduced to the market, when it's available to folks. But after that, in terms of how it resonates and how it's seen in context, historical context and context of its market, that's up to users, man. That's just it. It's crazy to see what forms that takes when just trying to either have a voice in impacting the development of a product, opinions about it, whether they're informed or not, or just wanting to enjoy it. That's that ownership at work. And in terms of games that are like not mint but always will have on hand, I still have, I think it was a mail order copy of Final Fantasy II that one of my older brothers bought a while back, and we had to like scotch tape the label back on. That's the copy that's always staying with me. That's never going away. Let's see if I got enough money for this. I think I do. Oh yeah, we were good. Let's sell some stuff. So I don't know, it's wild in that regard. I think there's a bit of a entitlement, of course, for certain people with some of these games and things, thinking that they, like, to the extent of believe in, and I think it's to Sam's point as well before, where It's like feeling like they have the correct or accurate knowledge of the state of something, even though, you know, they're not in the development room or the office. Yeah, I think there's some truth to some of that, Sam, in terms of a bit of a rebellion, a bit of a money thing. I also take a lot of pride in like having my hands involved with something that I fix. It adds more value to me in that regard because I've had to sort of appreciate it up close and in its ugly guts, so to speak. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a lot better in terms of defense. That might help a lot, actually. All right, I guess we will just take a stroll around that castle again and see what happens. And worst case, we get sent back here and then maybe come back with some money to buy some items. Dang, you took my magic. You jerk. You just got that. I mean, I can heal back up at the town, but still, that's just mean. But yeah, it's like, you know, in terms of just possessions I have, the ones that I probably hold dearest, if anything, is going to be the things I've had to fix or otherwise create or make. Like there's the Amiga 2000 over there where, you know, there's been investment with it for sure, but, you know, what really is kind of cool to me about it is how much work I've had to put into to actually get it working, fix things like, you know, solder wire to bridge traces that have been eaten away from battery corrosion, or cleaning slots, putting parts in, doing mods, things like that. And there's certainly a strong sense of ownership with that and appreciation because of that. And there's some games too, like fixing game consoles. The first thing I soldered was a Sega CD. And I have sold that Sega CD since, because I used, let's see, I think I had another one on hand that was better. And then, Pete's sake. And then I used that, and I think I traded in a spare Game Gear I had to get a Sega Saturn, right? So, you know, it's kind of like a lot of that fixing has introduced me to learning new knowledge and appreciating products in a different way, even like computers even. And this might be part of the modern consumer culture thing, where, you know, a lot of my peers, they, in terms of like building a computer, there's a lot of things they are ignorant on. Now, part of it is, I think, the area and the place I work is a part of that. And not all ignorant of it, of course, but there's quite a few who, like even just fellow developers, they never had to build their own computer or do much deep inside of the hardware beyond putting in a new graphics card, right? Or buying a new pre-build, buying a gaming laptop. You know, they don't have an appreciation or joy in parting out everything or having to set jumpers on a motherboard. Things you don't have to do anymore, of course. You know, and just having a more hands-on experience in configuring this system that you're going to be using for a variety of purposes for a long time, sometimes including development. Reuse seems to be fading farther and farther mainstream society, maybe too slow reward system. Well, I think part of it has been at least part of the that kind of culture of making and repairing has moved to more of like your Arduino maker sort of communities. So it's like it shifted away from where you had Radio Shack, building your own radios and mini kits like that. Like you've seen Radio Shack has even gone under, and they tried to bring in their Arduino stuff. But it's moved away from those brick and mortar experiences where you would meet and ask questions about stuff to where it's moved online. You know, I'm not going to go to a brick and mortar store or some local place to ask for advice really often. I'm going to go to a forum, a online community of some kind. I'm going to refer to YouTube videos or archive documents or some person's procedure they have on a website, or even iFixit to fix these things now, or to repair or to mod. You know, I think a lot of it's shifted there. And then also the types of products you'd be doing has shifted too. Now there's a strong presence of either, from a highly technical side, trying to create devices of convenience from microcontrollers. You know, now there's fun things like building clocks or automating parts of the house. But you have it to where it's this mixture of having software and abstractions from hardware available, where a lot of your maker skills are going into some software development, or at least utilizing pre-made software tools to build your logic, along with a microcontroller, along with putting wires in a breadboard, things like that, instead of just straight soldering onto a board now with a kit. And then you have to where I think it's just that interest in some of those devices has waned because of the presence of a smartphone or a centralized device that doesn't necessitate having to build something that's really good for like a clock or a radio now. You know, a lot of times you'd build a radio because either there'd be some features that you would want, or you're doing like a ham radio sort of thing. Something that may not be necessarily available in the store, or it's going to be a lot better when it's built. But some things are so darn cheap now and so fast to get certain parts for, or not certain parts, certain devices for, that you don't really need to build it anymore, or there's not much value in it. For example, looking at speakers, where there is a certain market for speaker parts, getting drivers for your mids, for your tweeters, and for your subwoofers. But the supply is so limited now that some of that market has strained and it's gone online or overseas and such, that the selection isn't at as much of a premium or a cost savings where it's worth really building, except for the most eccentric or professional. Like it becomes almost good enough to go to a store and buy the speaker. On top of that, and specifically with speakers, so much of the content has gone with MP3 or compressed media that even if I buy a new speaker, I don't get much out of it anymore. Newer albums are walls of sound. Digital files a lot of times are still compressed. Like there are FLACs and things like that, but it's not to the point where I get as much out of building a premium device. It's just, it sounds about the same. I think I need to go over here. So I think that's been part of the impact too, is that like certain markets where you would see that kind of uptick in making or having to build your own, the need has waned significantly because of either media that was used to use that premium product, or just even some of the parts available to make it premium are no longer available or of enough of a value proposition to want to do. And I think there's a kind of a combination of many of those things have impacted overall interest in a lot of it's electrical engineering, right? That's my very messy, unorganized rambling of what I think is kind of the state of a lot of that maker culture, hobby, things like that. So I mean, I think we still have a Radio Shack around here. We have one in Fayetteville. I think by fixing and repairing has expanded as consumer electronics become more popular. Folks still need to fix their plumbing and car, but now their phone can also break. There is that. Certainly, a lot of the need has moved to other consumer devices, and yeah, I think with the car stuff too. Certainly, there's still a need for that, and there's still a market for that. That wasn't the right way, I don't think. I read, or I think it was a CNBC video where it's talking about AutoZone and sort of why AutoZone is valued the way it is and why it's doing so well. And what they've seen is that there have been, looks like this is kind of a place to go. Oh snap, one power plant, go to the dark world. Well, well, well. Oh, item. Hello. What's Moon do again? Nothing happened. Okay. Agility me. Whoa, hey. Alright, so he's a bad dude. That's a bad dude. And I certainly agree with the usefulness of learning how to do things like soldering and such, for sure. And that's been something that's been invaluable to me for a while. Yay! I didn't have to spend the money to revive him. That was nasty, bro. Yeah, it may have been a mistake. I should review what all of these do. So I don't forget. Let me get a piece of paper and a pen. I'm going to write this down this time. I remembered Wizards brings them out of the Dark World, and that's about it. That dude's a bad, bad man. So let's see. I know Wizard brings bad from Dark World. Let's see. Then Moon. Weakens attack power by half. See Sky. It's going to be weakening magic power. Wind. Yep, got that. So water. Reduces dark power by half. Light. Deflect spells and attack them. Okay. And then star. Reduce defense by half. Okay. Now we know what everything does. Ha 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 ha. At some point, I'll memorize what doors go where, and so the maze will no longer be a maze. It's actually not that long of an area. It's like, what, 3 or 4 floors, maybe? Like, it's not that bad. When you think about it. I did not refill Doc's... Oh, yeah, I did. I did refill his magic. I'm just lying to you. We're gonna beat up this bad guy. We're gonna make him feel pain. Ice be cold. Petrify work. He's a no-wing angel. I mean, he was like sitting in some sort of posture with chains around him. I mean, he's not that far off of a winged angel sort of crap. Ain't that far off. Oh yeah, the AutoZone thing. I forgot to talk about that because I died. So, with AutoZone, their primary business before, had been for a while, was consumers coming in to fix their stuff. Brick and mortar, in particular, what made it work so well is the idea of like, so people only buy windshield wipers when it's raining and they need them right away. So online purchasing does not facilitate that particular need. And there are a number of auto parts and DIY kind of projects that work in that fashion. And so AutoZone, with well-placed stores and that focus on those particular needs, had grown for a while. And its stock price had increased significantly in the past few years because of its, partly its stability when the recession hit, and partly it dipping into now providing parts for commercial industries, not just with consumers, meaning that like auto repair garages and stuff too now use AutoZone as a supply chain for parts. And that's something they've been trying to get into for a while, but it's not actually been picking up steam. And what AutoZone did during the recession was they had some retention with dealing with the dip in people buying cars. So what happens is, in general, what market analysts say about AutoZone's business is that they focus on a particular sweet spot of ages of cars where people come in and buy parts for them. I think it's like 8 to 12 or 10 to 14 years old for the car. it's what happens is when the car gets out of warranty, people now have to fix it themselves, right? And that's where AutoZone comes in. That's where their business is. And people will usually own the car for like another 5 years or whatever. Or they're buying a used car. They're keeping it for that long. But miles get too high. Car gets too old. They buy something new. Whatever. It ends up being they move away from the car. So that ends up being that sweet spot of people buying cars. And the bulk of business comes in for AutoZone. Thus what happens is that when AutoZone's stocking parts, they focus on model year with that window in mind, because that's where everybody's buying stuff from. Well, the recession hits. People stop buying cars for a while. That window now no longer exists for a particular period of time for AutoZone. And a combination of that and cash for clunkers ate into AutoZone's business big time. Now, they survived that, and they did well enough with providing services and providing parts for when they needed to, so on and so forth. Thus, market confidence. But they're able to take some of that DIY culture that you saw with folks, which is still a decent part of their business, and now they're growing beyond that because of some stagnation there. Yeah, we're use heal and dock. So that's kind of a modern effect we've seen with the DIY crowd as well, particularly with auto repair. And that's on top of also having more sophistication and better resources online, even for parts, because in the past that's been very hit and miss, particularly because you might have it to where parts they were cheaply made and they wouldn't last very long. Now they last long enough. So people are more prone to go into like an Amazon or a enthusiast site to get parts. You have some of that kind of happens. So anyway, yeah, DIY. That was a really cool video too. Like that kind of gave me some cool perspective on AutoZone, because like I didn't expect them to be as prevalent as they are. Like they are valued, I think, at like $1,200 a share. Like they are a strong company. And I was like, I didn't know AutoZone was that big, but yeah. And that's with competing against things like Advanced Auto Parts, O'Reilly, things like that. So you kind of have a combination of things there. Sure. See, the key with using these doorways is it resets the placement of enemies on the radar. So I can just, hopefully dodge a lot of encounters. Hopefully. Is this the one I need to go into? Nope. 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 So look at that, business stuff. Markets and things. That's what we talk about on stream for the 7th Saga. You underestimate me, foolish mortals, but now I'll stop you forever. You should have stayed in the future. If you have known me there was only one power in this planet. You sent me to the past. Jerk. Okay. Item. Wizard. Come forth. Item. We're going to do deflect. We're going to do light. Should have deflected. Reduce defense by half. Let's try that. Oh crap, wrong button. Dang gummit. Well, guess we're bringing Doc back. Mm-hmm. 。 . 。  . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 。 . . . . . . . . .
So
Well, I thought it was supposed to, like, reflect, but whatever. Star. So, okay, that hurt. That's 1, that's 2, 3 maybe for star. That hurt. That's good. Overall, I made money. So, overall, well, that was 1 there. So, there's something that allows me to attack them. Maybe I should try to weaken some of this stuff first, so I don't get completely smoked. That might be the way to go. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything in the critical fight. I got dismantled. I guess I can try grinding a little more. Eh. Cool. Petrify, thank you. It's part of it too. I don't know how many, like, how much of this is like just it's gonna be worth making a run at the boss here, or if I do have to actually grind a little more, because I really don't have to grind more. I think there might be a little bit of an order, or maybe an ideal order. Certainly, using 1 brings them out of the dark, or using wizard brings them out of the dark world, and then using light allows me to attack him. I was able to reduce his defense, so I think I can, after using the wizard thing to bring him out of the dark world and light to allow me to attack him, I can start using other runes on him to soften him up, more or less. Which, first of all, might be focusing on getting rid of his spell power, because spells hurt a lot. That's what I gather. And with part of it too, it's like there's one of them that weakens his attack power, one of them that weakens his magic power, and the one of them weakens his dark power. I don't know what dark power is. Maybe I should just increase Doc's power. Well, at least we got rid of him, so that's plus. These knights are just so irritating, because they don't petrify hardly ever. Well, they did that time, so that was nice. But then they dodge, and they dodge, and they dodge. It just goes on forever. Unless maybe I'm such a high level, it just doesn't matter anymore, and I just pummel. That could be it. I don't know. I just play this game. I don't know. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Get rid of you. All this is an attempt to lengthen out the game. Ain't it? Ain't it what this is all about? Yeah, I tried using light again and it had no effect because it says it deflects spells and attacks him. And I didn't see any of the spells deflect, so I'm like, well, maybe I need to use that again. And no, it didn't have any effects. I'm like, okay, never mind. That did nothing. So like, great. Fantastic. So this one is, which one was it? Is it here? I think it was this far corner one, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, that was the wrong one. Which one was it? Oh, it's a far right, I think. That was far left. Because I come out this side, and that's where. So, first floor, upper left. Say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there's that many. 8. So it's gonna be 1. I'm keeping track of the doors now, so I have them written down. Waste less time, in theory. Yeah. Crap, gotta fight. Oh, time to see how good we are. Don't steal my magic now. Now I'm fast. Am I fast enough? Fast enough. Good. Oh, not that fast. Kill you up. Oh, that wasn't actually that bad. Oh, great. Perfect. Can I petrify someone? Thank you. Oh, I should have stolen his magic. Dang it. Let's do that real quick. Yes. This is gonna hurt. Oh, not as bad. Not as bad as it could have been. Yeah. That worked out decently well. Good. Hey, level 56. Fantastic. So, second floor. Right, this is door number 5. Is it upper right then? It might be. Another fight. Ugh. Yay, both dodged. Fantastic. Let's get a little dock. Good dodge, good dodge. That's lame. There we go. Let's give Doc some power. Your magic means nothing to me. In fact, I'm just gonna steal some from you now. Yeah. Nom nom nom. Nothing like going to the final area and using the same tactics to get what I want. Come on, petrify. Petrify. Dang. Nah, that worked out anyway, so we're good. We're fine. Is this where I want to go? I don't think so. Is it indeed the upper left? Nope. Maybe it's the beginning one. Is this why? Oh, it. Whoa. What? Dude disappeared. Oh, so I went back down? Yeah. Great. Took me back. So not that. That's not the one we want. Which one's the one we want? I thought I checked all these before, but maybe I didn't. Okay, got it. So that's going to be lower right, number 8, and then 4th floor is top, middle, left, floor number 2. Okay, we got our order now. Perfect. We're ready for a fight. We're not ready for a fight. Underestimate me. Dude, I got your tower written down. I have all the rune things and what they do written down. So I want to do item. We want to do wizard. Want to do item. Want to do light. Want to do item. I want to do weekend magic power sky. And yeah, so I'm gonna do that as 3. How well we can attack power with moon. Let's do a water to weaken your dark power. Oh. It's weakened. Your power holds nothing here. We're going to do wind. Magic. Get 3 on dock. Defend. I haven't done defense yet, so might as well use that. 7. Oh no, you got me. Revive. Dick. Okay. That how we're playing this? Is that what we're doing? Fine. Revive. Defend. Magic. Power dock. Oh, okay. Cool, man. Did I reduce your defense again? Or your agility or something? Let's see here. I've used them all. I can try weakening his defense again. Which was 7? Or sorry, star. Nothing. Okay. Let's go ahead and heal Doc. Yeah, I'll try that. Re-enable attacking him. It's gonna be light. Nothing happened. Okay. Okay. It might be dark power by half, deflect, whatever. Dick moves here, man. I don't like that. Because I don't think I have enough magic as is, so I have to use another doodad. Yep. He might be dodging. Don't like that. I think he is dodging. I think you're right. Can I take this hit? No, I can't. Crap. Okay. Recovery. Use. I can take it. I can take it, right? Yeah. Let's go, boys. Damn. Got him. Got him. Almost got him. No! Don't take me with you. Yay! Shoot, man, I wasn't getting greedy. I was getting even. Differences. Greedy, even, differences. Oh, hey. Well, thank you. Reborn as a descendant? Let's go, boys. Not bad. Lamelle. Oh, who was Lamelle's? Is that the king? Who was that person again? Da 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 da, we beat it. na 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 na. We beat the game. There we go. There it is. 40 hours in, and we beat it. And we beat it. It only took, what, that was like the third or fourth try at that boss. Kind of getting a hang for what I need to do with the items. Once we're able to stabilize, it was a little bit easier to handle. And again, he instant killed my guy like 2 or 3 times. So it was like, recover, revive, bring him back again. Yeah, who was that character again? That name is really familiar. I forget who that is. Thank you, Wes. Thank you, Seymour. Appreciate it, guys. That was a long time coming to beat this game. Oh. Long time coming. And not the easiest game in the world. And hey, we didn't have to grind a whole lot either. Oh, well, let me pump the brakes on that. Once we got the armor for the wizard, there wasn't a whole lot more grinding we had to do. Just kind of getting it done. Okay. I see. So, 2 things. One, either truly that is who I become as a good guy or whatever, no longer Gorza, or 2, did he accidentally res Gorza instead of me? And that's what happens, and the time loop continues. I don't know. But thank you, Sam. Thank you for the congrats. Oh, man. That was an adventure. 7th Saga. Man. And I felt like, once I had a handle about how much damage he was doing to me with his attack, I was like, you know what? I just need one more shot in here. I have a couple of chances, and I don't need to really shield myself. And I got plenty of recovers. So, whatever. I thought about spending a turn to maybe try to res my wizard, but I was like, the revive one is such a hit and miss. It's more miss than hit spell. So I didn't feel comfortable trying that. It's like, I got this on my own. What happened to my partner, by the way? Like, I know he died in the battle, but... like, Doc wasn't the only person in that room with Gorza. You know what I mean? Just saying. Like, what happened to him? Yeah. Elnard! The Japanese version of the game! Woo! Woohoo! So you have a complete playthrough of the 7th Saga here on NFGL. Ha ha ha. And I was like, it's him and me. And I got plenty of items to go around. So let's do this. At least he didn't do another instant kill. I wonder if he ran out of magic. Because he was just pumping out the instant kills. And he just started going to physical attacks. I'm like, okay. So, I guess we can go through thoughts on 7th Saga at this point. Fast food restaurants. Gotta make business somewhere, make some bank after getting schooled. That's cool. You expect me just to reset now? Is that what we're doing? Or we just wait until the end of the music? I don't know. Just press a bunch of buttons at the same time. I don't know. We'll talk while we got this going on, though. So, thoughts on 7th Saga. I mean, overall, certainly at least the American version playing here, there's it certainly lives up to the reputation of difficulty, particularly with the battles with the other rivals. That's something we saw throughout in the beginning, and I think that was probably the most excitement I had in the game, was battling the rivals. Again, Wes, or Seymour, you may or may not know, I don't know your history with this game, but at least Wes, I know you haven't really played this game. When you'd battle these rivals that were going after the runes as well, again, they were kind of the other, you saw the characters in the credits here, but they were the other possible characters you could play as in the game. They would scale up with your level when you would level up. So when you would have to battle one of them to get one of the runes, or to get past a certain part of the game, you would have to do it as a solo battle, so you wouldn't have your partner with you. And at least in the Japanese version, they'd be equating to your level. In the American version, I believe the rivals actually scaled up faster than you, so if you leveled up, they'd actually make those guys harder than before. And so it made it an extra challenge to beat the rivals. And really, it came down to having a good deal of strategy involved in the one-on-one battles to be able to properly negotiate them. Fu shows up. Oh, back in the day, right on. Yeah, this is my first time playing through it. It's kind of one of those bucket list games for me. Just knew of it, liked the aesthetic of it, never really played through it. And so that's really where I felt the heart of the challenge was with 7th Saga. Not so much the boss battles or the dungeons. The dungeons themselves were never super maze-like. Even the last one, it was only 4 floors of rooms. And I was happy with the pieces they would use to mark where the floors were at. That was super helpful. But the boss battles themselves never really stood much in the way of progressing through the game. And overall, even going through the game with the characters I did, there would be some roadblocks I'd have to get through one of the rival battles, but it was never enough to where it stopped me from playing. And more so, because I couldn't grind to get over it, it wasn't like it was asking me to grind in the game. It was just, you have to be better in the battle, think of a different way of strategizing. Like you saw even with the Gorza battle there, I didn't really try grinding up really to get through it. I certainly got a level or two while just running through it just to get to the boss again. I was more thinking about how do I have to change how I'm fighting in this battle to win, more or less. So that seemed to be a pattern with 7th Saga most of the way through. Then you get to the plot point where you collect the 7 runes, and it turns out you're helping Gorza the entire time, and he kicks you back to the past. And then you end up spending the last third of the game grinding to try to get through whatever remains in the game. And it's not as fun as the beginning 2/3 of the game. Partly, content-wise, it's not a third of the game. I'd say it's close to a 5th or 6th of the game is that last part, this last part here that you saw. There's like a boss battle with this tower. There's a cave I have to go to, and there's one town, another boss battle, and like a couple other towns there. So there's like a couple pieces of content, but it's not near the extent of what I had to do in the beginning of the game. And so it's like you have a 5th or 6th of the game taking up a third of the time in the game because of all the grinding you have to do. You lose these runes you had previously, which were basically buffs for attack, or there are multi-use items, so an item you can use out of your inventory, but it never goes away. It's not disposable. It's persistent. And they could either, like, one of them would raise your attack, one of them would raise your defense, one would raise your agility, one would, I think, heal you, one would restore your magic, one was a fast travel, and I forget what the other one was. But they replaced items you would have in your inventory, and it made it very, very convenient to use those instead of magic, or even have to solo some battles to have augments of some abilities you wouldn't have otherwise. And so when you got to parts where it might require maybe even a little bit of grinding, because you had all that support in your inventory, you could get over that. And so you didn't really have to grind to get through something. It made a very smooth, fairly consistent progression through the game. But then when you get to the past, you lose all those. So you're stuck with just you, your partner, and items. So you and your partner might have some magical abilities, or you have items, and that's it. and it just slowed the game down. It took a while. It felt like it took a while. I think I jumped into the past close to the 30-hour mark, maybe even a little bit under the 30-hour mark, and now I'm probably close to the 40-hour mark. So maybe realistically it's about a fourth of the game, but it felt like a third of the game was spent there. It felt like a third, probably practically a fourth, for a fifth or sixth of the content of the game. And that's kind of where we're at with 7th Saga. Good ending. I like at least the boss encounters and some of the dungeons they had at the end of the game. It's just the actual monster progression was really slow, really painful, and I think took away from some of the cool strategy you had in the battle system and some of the items they had through the majority of the game previously. Even with the encounters and the dungeons and such, they were all fairly straightforward. There weren't too many secrets, at least as far as I know. There were certainly little items you can get to help boost stats if you looked hard enough. So they called, you saw P Seed was one of them I picked up, which was Power Seed. Increase your power when you use it. So you had one-time use items like that help your stats as a bit of a reward, but you never found secret weapons or hidden bosses or anything like that you would see in a Squaresoft game, right? So it was a fairly streamlined from a dungeon, at least dungeon traversal perspective and item acquisition. It's just the time that wasn't very concise was the grinding at that end still. And I think that probably the only other puzzling parts where you may have had some almost riddle sort of things to figure out the location of certain places you have to go to or whatever sort of event you have to hit to progress the plot. Yeah, it's not letting you do anything. I think they want me to reset. Why reset? That's mean. So overall, it would take a long time for me to play 7th Saga again. I think I would consider playing it again as a different character, but that's also knowing that there's going to be a long grind at the end of the game. Partly, it might be where the grind might be less significant if I have a different character, such as Lux, for example, where he's a robot that while he doesn't have any magic, he has some pretty strong abilities and some insane attack. And I think he has pretty good physical abilities and a particular, he has really good physical stats. One particular ability he gets later on that's pretty high damage, but that's where he sort of lands. He's not anywhere associated with magic like the guy I was using. So it might be where I change a character significantly just to see how that playthrough is and see if it gets easier at the end of the game. But man, that grind at the end really sucks. And that's what would keep me from playing it again, really. And it would take me a little bit too, because after spending that much time with 7th Saga, even, again, starting February 2019 on to now, that's the period of time I spent with this. And that included other life events to sort of interrupt playing games, but on the whole, that just took a while. And I played other games in between. I think I beat Phantasy Star 1 on the Sega Ages version, which is a joke. I played a number of other games, Madden games, things like that. It was just a bit of a grind. But I would still recommend it, I think. I think if you are looking for something to scratch that 16-bit Super Nintendo era JRPG experience, it was a concise yet sophisticated battle system with a balance of abilities and items that it really forces you to strategize over grinding overall, forgetting the end of the game. And I pulled a lot of lessons from that, and I have never used a variety of abilities or items in an RPG until 7th Saga, forcing me to consider buffing and debuffing more seriously and when to do it, to preserve turn economy, to not get myself slammed if I'm not defending or anything like that. The fact alone I have to defend to increase attack, and that becomes so necessary to do damage, it completely changes the scope of strategy in the game. You start lining up defenses with buffs to then attack next turn and really optimize your damage output. Something I never really took seriously or really thought about until 7th Saga, and does it in a very a very elegant, simple set of rules for the battle system. So I think that 7th Saga does that really well. That's the big strength of the game. Yeah, and status effects, which really, even with 7th Saga, there aren't too many status effects. Like, you get petrified, there are some poison in the game, and it happens in it happens with choice kinds of enemies in, I think, like, the kind of the 3/4 point of the game, like, just before you go back in time. You have dungeons where you have, like, fast-moving spiders that can poison you and things like that. But that's really the only status. I don't think there's, like, any silence or anything. So they even keep status effects really simple in this game. You got buffs and debuffs. You have petrify, and then you have poison. That's really it. And the buffs and debuffs kind of involve increasing and decreasing agility, power, and defense. But that's really it. So it's a really concise collection of stats and abilities, which I think is to the strength of 7th Saga. It's a great package that way. Yeah, I think that's fair, Sam. Like, it's an upper echelon. And it's an upper echelon not because of plot twists and the kinds of things you would probably associate with Chrono Trigger. Well, which Chrono Trigger is more than plot twists, but it's also just like branching narrative and some of the combo systems they do in the combat. But I think that's a lot of quantity with that quality that Chrono Trigger does. With 7th Saga, it's much less quantity and very strong quality with those mechanics. It's a good game. It's a pain in the end, but it's a good game. Like, I still want to play through it. It just dragged. It just dragged at the end. But yeah, so give it a try at some point. Be patient with it. You know, doing it all in one setting, I think you'd seriously burn out. But it's at least worth a good once playthrough. Maybe twice once you give yourself some time in between just to try another character to see how it is. If it's worth it, then that might encourage other play beyond that. But I'm not at a point where I want to optimize on a single JRPG or like speedrun or anything like that. That's not really how I consume games. The need of using status item spells or rivals at Dark Tone is good enough for me to overcome the oddly placed third act. That's fair. I think I agree with you that as well, Sam. Is that that strength of all those other elements in the game certainly make it worth a play. And I think what I like about the conciseness of 7th Saga is that, at least if I were to watch someone play before I would play it, there are some plot points that get spoiled, but it's not enough for me to really feel like it's ruined the game experience. Like, it's not so dependent on the plot where a spoiler disengages me completely. I think the interest in the battle system and just balancing those battles out is enough of a draw for me to want to dip into it. It's not as flashy of a reason as a plot or as character development, but I think it's an important one, and it's certainly been a side effect. It certainly affected me with other games I play, especially with tactics games like Banner Saga or Lane Racer, where they're very much relying on the same thing 7th Saga does, where it's a turn economy, balancing of status and buff sort of mentality. I have to know when to move to the right spot, not just moving to the right spot, and have a nice sequence of actions to optimize putting myself in the correct position without spending so many turns or units of movement to do it. And 7th Saga does the same thing. It's just in a turn-based RPG menu format as opposed to a grid-based tactical game. Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, those kinds of revelations with Luna and Lunar, or you know, think of what happens to Eris in Final Fantasy VII, or other RPGs I have to think of now. Yeah, you get the idea, though, where those are like revelations that really change context of how you understand the characters in the game, and are part of the draw of the game. Because part of 7th Saga is that the characters aren't very strong characters. There is some personality in their dialogue, but you don't get in depth too much into their backstory, really. It's more of a flavoring on the dialogue they talk to you about when they want to fight or they want to join, in this effort to gain these runes. Like, you get some background in the manual about what they want to wish for once they get all the runes, and then they have ways of talking to you. That's it. You don't get anything about explaining how they've come to be or anything like that, really. It's all kind of left to the imagination and assumption of the player. So I think that helps lend itself well to that more concise format of a narrative device and really focus on the mechanics of the game. Right? So that's 7th Saga. Those are my thoughts. And it's going to be a little bit before I play another RPG, because that was a lot of JRPG menu strategy that was a lot of it. And I've had a lot of it now. The Ravens are really the Browns. Man, plot twists. All the Madden games are ruined for me. Rip them off the shelf. But I'm going to call it there for the stream. That's it. We beat 7th Saga. That was the goal. So, thank you guys for joining. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for sticking around, for watching this playthrough over the past year. Over a year. Almost 2 years. I guess a year and a half. Yeah, year and a half to play through 7th Saga. So there you go. You know what? A platformer might be next, Seymour. You're not wrong there. I was thinking about something, a little bit easier for a playthrough for me. Less investment, if that makes sense. Part of me was thinking about finishing up Super Magnetic Neo on the Dreamcast. That was one I played a lot of last year, but never finished it. That's a really cool platformer. Just to kind of whip yourself around using, like, changing polarity of magnetism and stuff. I think I was, like, on the last world. I was really close to beating it. So that's certainly a possibility. Though I said no more RPGs, I would always consider playing Phantasy Star Online more on the Dreamcast, because I've just played it so much that it doesn't feel like a hardcore game to play to me. It's pretty casual at this point. I'm familiar enough with it. I can just walk in, run some maps, chit-chat. I don't have to be super focused on how to play it, because I've just done it so much. I've run through forest, caves, mines, runes so much on normal, hard, V-hard, ultimate. I haven't done much of the S-rank stuff in, like, episode 1 and 2, but still, you get the idea. Boot up the Dreamcast, set up the Dream Pi, and do some online play with it. That's a possibility. Might do some VR stuff too, because I have a Rift over here, and I've been playing there's a number of football games that are sort of like VR experiences. Gaming like it's 2019. I mean, you're not wrong, Sam. That's a lot of where I'm at. But yeah, there's one. It's called 2MD VR Football, which is 2-minute drill. And so, try to make this long story short. Many football games that are for VR right now simulate being a quarterback and throwing the ball at targets or receivers. So it all kinds feels sort of samey in that regard, except for 2MD VR Football, where that is the primary experience, is you're in the pocket, hiking the ball, throwing to a receiver. However, you can edit and switch plays at the line and before the games even, and you can move your quarterback with a stick and such. And so you end up rolling out for passes, following receivers as they're going down a route and trying to get the ball to them, as well as even just, scrambling and breaking out for a run for, first down or whatever. And it's a really concise arcadey game where it's all about just running the length of the field to get a touchdown in a certain time limit. If you throw an interception, you restart. If you don't make it to 10 yards after the fourth down, then you go back to the start of wherever you were at before, and time keeps on ticking. So it uses a format of the football aesthetic style, some of the rule set, to have this better quarterback simulator in terms of not just throwing the ball, but managing a play. And doing that. And it's a really cool experience. I found it I think that's my favorite football experience in VR right now. And that's comparing it to VR Sports. What's it called? It's a VR Sports collection. It's what Oculus Studios made, and it's like a collection of almost like mini games with football, basketball, hockey, and baseball. And then there's also a football sim thing that Gatorade made. It's called, I think it's called Dodge the Blitz. Peyton Manning tells you how to stay hydrated because being dehydrated affects your health. Goes through a whole like VR experience about how dehydration affects the body. But then the core of the game is you throw balls at targets, and then they bring in guys who are going to tackle you for a blitz. You have to just move to dodge them. So it's a room VR kind of experience. But again, you're just throwing balls at targets and dodging. You're not actually managing the play to an extent. And that's what 2MD does the best, and it does it really well. I could use some C64. I think grab it out of the garage, but I could certainly pop in complete OG John Madden football along with some of the other football games I have on the C64, load them up and play them. That will certainly be a much more patient experience for sure. There's a lot of loading for those discs. Yeah, I could be in the works. I'll have to see what I'm feeling. So, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. I mean, I'd be tempted to do Chandelar as well. OG Magic the Gathering DOS stuff. That'd be really fun. I'm just not very good at Magic, so I have to learn how to be good at Magic. that's kind of part of it there. Yeah, because I think I at least have to do something else before jumping into another RPG or jumping back into football games. Because I have to get kind of equally engaged in football games just to learn it and have the patience to go through a game. Games stress me out. It's a good stress. I like the stressful part, but I can't do the stress all the time. So that's the only thing with these JRPGs, highly strategic games, kind of put me in that same spot. Yeah, .hack, probably not yet. Actually, what do I have up here? I've also thought about racing games too, because I'm a big fan of Gran Turismo. And I could whip out the PS2 and do some Gran Turismo stuff. I haven't played much of the PS2 entries. I've played more of Gran Turismo Sport, Gran Turismo 5, and Gran Turismo 2. So that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I know. It's just there's an appeal to Chandelar. Chandelar is really good. It is really good. And I'm really bad at it, and it takes a lot of thinking and commitment to do. But it's really good. One possibility, I got some PS2 games from a buddy of mine. One we tried playing together is a very flawed game, but it's kind of a weird, almost... It feels like an FMV game, or an FMV game, a QuickTime event game before it was really QuickTime events. It's Orphan, Scion of Sorcery, based on the manga, anime, whatever. One of the two. I don't know if it was a manga or anime. But it's an action RPG where it's really more about platforming, some light puzzle solving, and battles that are very heavily scripted and choreographed to where you have to time button presses and things like that. Hence more of a kind of a QuickTime event sort of feel. It's an odd game, and it's a flawed game, but the oddness and uniqueness kind of attract me to it. Also picked up some Kingdom Hearts games from him, but again, that's more of the commitment, multi-hour action RPG thing. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. I have been playing through, and this is when I bought it my own, but Concept, which is, again, it's kind of that deck building sort of game, but it's a territory board game where when you build a deck to help occupy territories with monsters, and you gain upkeep from them. And so the goal of the game is to get so much upkeep first, and you can gain more of those points from having the opponent land on that space, try to fight your monster, fail, and then they have to lose some of what the points they get and give it back to you. It's a really good game, and it's on the PS2, and it's on the Dreamcast import. So there's that, but I'd play the PS2 version because it's in English and I can understand it. really good game. Really, really solid game. So there's possibilities. There's always possibilities. I have enough games to last forever, for sure. You're not wrong with Metal Dungeon. That is one I've wanted to finish up too, and I have mentioned that to you before, Sam. Metal Dungeon is a flawed mess of a game, but I got kind of far. It's like, again, it's like a macro dungeon delve game. Like, I feel like I'm managing a team going through a dungeon delve, but it's not like full on simulation management, because Metal Dungeon is a budget title on the Xbox where you have a party of 4 characters in like this this techno westernized anime sort of aesthetic. Not really anime though. Not really like body horror, just like, I think metal gothic or like techno gothic in a way, but like a sanitized techno gothic. And you're trying to traverse this pit, and every floor has a certain gimmick of some sort of obstacle or keys you have to collect or something to get to the floor. Goal to get to the bottom floor and complete the dungeon. But when you go into monster encounters, you don't have any direct control over the actions in the battle. It's just auto. It just goes. So what you have control over prior to the battle is in what position of this grid of 4 spaces does your party's characters stand in, and equipment. Boss battles work the same way. I think there's some light input you do during a battle, if I recall correctly, but it's all hands off. So you sort of have this macro management experience with your party going through a budget dungeon delve. It's ugly as sin, but it's interesting. So there's that. There's also Malice on the Xbox. I was trying some of that out the other day. There's a lot of early to mid 2000s, there's a lot of platformers, so there's a lot of stuff there. Anyway, that's some thoughts of what I have, games I could play. I'll come up with something. Either way, though, thank you so much. Have a good night, guys. Play 7th Saga at some point. Get ready for the last act of it to be really slow, but it works. And it makes you be a smarter JRPG player. You can't just get through grinding. Have a good night. See you later. NFGL! Pew, pew, pew! Pew, pew, pew!
She once had a